Oh boy.
Mr. Ward, please. Mr. Baker. You sure? Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. My name is Gregory Davis. I'm the United States Attorney for the Southern District of Mississippi. We're here today to talk to you about a resurgent problem in the state of Mississippi. It's methamphetamine trafficking, and it's a danger that it poses to our communities, our cities, and our state. We're here today to announce charges against 20 individuals. These federal charges are the result of the combined effort of the people that you see standing with me today. Joining me today, and please raise your hand as I introduce you, is Agent Jared Porter with the IRS Criminal Investigations Division, Assistant Special Agent in charge of the Drug Enforcement Administration, Mr. Floyd Baker, Agent Robert Kay with the United States Postal Service, Sheriff Greg Wagner with the Leake County Sheriff's Department, Major Alan Ward with the Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics, Assistant United States Attorney Aaron Chalk with this office, and Assistant Special Agent in charge of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, Constance Hester Davis. We're here today to announce the unsealing of 3 separate indictments. These indictments are the result of a 2-year investigation into a national criminal organization that was distributing methamphetamines from California into central Mississippi, including the counties of Newton, Neshoba, Scott, Leake, Lauderdale, and Rankin County. The investigation and prosecution is a part of the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force known as OCDETF. The goal of the OCDETF program is to disrupt, dismantle, and prosecute major drug trafficking organizations in the United States. The task force responsible for today's indictment consists of federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies. It was led by the Drug Enforcement Administration and the Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics, along with assistance from the United States Marshal Service, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, United States Postal Service, Internal Revenue Service, Criminal Investigations, the Sheriff's Departments from Scott County, Leake County, Madison County, Newton County, and Lauderdale County, and a number of police departments including Carthage, Forest, Decatur, Richland, Pearl, Ridgeland, and the Jackson Police Department. These 3 indictments charge 20 individuals with illegal trafficking of methamphetamines. 15 of the defendants are residents of Mississippi. 4 of the defendants are residents of California, and 1 defendant has residences in both Mississippi and California. The indictments allege that between 2012 and 2014, these defendants trafficked methamphetamine from California into central Mississippi. The trafficking was accomplished through the use of the United States Postal Service, through next-day delivery companies, and also through personal vehicles. To date, this task force has seized in excess of 15 kilograms of methamphetamine, and the purity level of the methamphetamine seized exceeds 90%. All 3 indictments have one common defendant, Rodney Gerald Henderson. The first indictment is styled United States of America versus Rodney Gerald Henderson, Christopher Kidd, Ronnie Round, Thomas Mason, Jaquibia Fairley, Beatrice McEntee, and Jamie Timms. It is a 9-count indictment against 7 individuals. If you look at the indictment, count 8 includes a charge against Mr. Henderson for distributing methamphetamine in which death resulted. And that just indicates that methamphetamine is a deadly drug. The second indictment, styled United States of America versus Ronnie Henderson, Stephen Ochoa, Michael McLemore, Jennifer McLemore, and Kenneth Wagner, is a 6-count indictment against these 5 individuals. The third indictment, styled United States of America versus Rodney Henderson, Kathleen Kidd, Jennifer Kidd, Marcos Jones, Walter Pernilio, Cliff Williams, Stacy Sherwood, Angelina Fortenberry, Princess Grace, and Terry Garth, is a 12-count indictment against these 10 individuals. The maximum penalty for the charges in the indictments range from 20 years to life in prison. However, of course, if convicted, the sentences would be imposed by a federal district judge consistent with the United States sentencing guidelines. We have copies of the indictments that are available. The charges in the indictments include conspiracy to possess with the intent to distribute methamphetamine, possession with the intent to distribute methamphetamine, and possession of firearms by convicted felons. 10 defendants were arrested in California and Mississippi this morning. 6 defendants were previously incarcerated on separate charges, and currently 4 defendants remain at large, 1 in California and 3 in Mississippi. The defendants who are in custody will make an initial appearance before a magistrate judge in this courthouse on Thursday at 1 p.m. before Magistrate Judge Anderson. And we're here today just to let everyone know that the trafficking, possession, and distribution of illegal narcotics is a danger to our society. This roundup is continuing evidence of our commitment in federal law enforcement to aggressively identify, investigate, and prosecute those who, through violation of federal criminal laws, pose a threat to the safety and security of our citizens. It's also evidence of the cooperation and partnership, as you see behind me, that exists between state, federal, and local law enforcement. Our special thanks go out to the federal, state, and local law enforcement partners who worked with our office on this case, and I'd like to especially thank the prosecutor in this office who will be prosecuting this case here going forward, which is Ms. Erin Chalk. We in law enforcement are committed not only to arresting and prosecuting those who break the law. We're also interested in saving lives. And we hope that these 3 indictments that were unsealed this afternoon and the arrests that were made this morning, that we can sound the alarm about the dangers of methamphetamine to our communities. And with that, I will now ask if anyone else would like to make a statement, and after which we will open it up for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Simply to add, as a local sheriff from a rural area, all of these things have to have a starting point. And that's most of the times these larger cases will be brought about by a local case. And in this case, I had a deputy who made an arrest, and that person wanted to help themselves, and it moved up from there. MDN was contacted, DEA was contacted, and it went from there. And it's a good story. It's a good story of law enforcement at all levels working together, and for the betterment of our communities and our state and our country. And I'm very proud of all the people that are involved in this, and happy to be appointed with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions that you'd like to ask?
How big of a share of the meth business did this ring have before you busted it, you think?
In the central Mississippi area?
Well, just, yeah, how big of a dent, I guess, have you put in the meth trafficking with taking these people out of commission?
These people were, as part of the OCDF program, what we target are the major drug distributors. And in this case, you can see that there are 3 separate indictments. And in these 3 separate indictments, although there's one common person, these this person, Mr. Henderson, and his co-conspirators were the major distributors of meth in central Mississippi. So we would say that with these 3 indictments, that a significant dent has been put in the drug trafficking in central Mississippi.
Financially, how much were they running?
Financially, what we can say is this, and that's a good point, because actually methamphetamines can be, a kilo of meth may be sold for under $5,000 in California, but it could be sold in Mississippi for somewhere around $35,000. In this case, overall, although we've seized 15 kilograms, the information is that these people over a number of years had distributed significantly more methamphetamine than that. So you look at about $35,000 per kilogram, and a significant amount. It's really significant as far as the profit that was involved in this.
Are they accused of sending the already manufactured product from California to Mississippi?
Yes. And basically when you see a purity level of 90% or better, that indicates that it's probably from what they call the super labs, as opposed to, I think, it is actual methamphetamine, not what we saw prior to 2010 when people could go and purchase pseudoephedrine and in their homes or small labs make methamphetamine, which would be a combination of other substances and also methamphetamine. This is pretty much purity level of over 90%, which indicates it was made somewhere in California and then shipped to Mississippi.
The death that was referenced in the indictment, was that like an overdose?
Yes.
Was it a Mississippi?
The decedent is a Mississippi resident, yes. And certainly more information about that will come out once these initial appearances are made and once the case proceeds.
You said 4 people. You're still at large. Could you name them?
Yes. The 4 people who remain at large, Terry Garth of Newton, Mississippi, Princess Grace of Meridian, Mississippi, Kenneth Wagner of Forest, Mississippi, and Christopher Raynard Kidd of Rialto, California. So we'd just like to thank you all for taking your time to come out here today. And this is a very serious problem. Hopefully you all will get the word out and let people know that 2 things. If you traffic meth in the state of Mississippi, you'll be investigated and prosecuted. And meth is a deadly drug. And also in this case, we've seized a number of firearms also. Firearms and illegal drugs do not go together. So thank you very much.
The name of the operation, there's some significance there. Did they use ice coolers? Or?
It's Yeti Ice. Ice referring to crystal meth. Yeti, the coolest.
Okay.
Thank you very much.